Guys, it's John here at National Sports Entertainment, and I wanted to cover just our two games for the championships. It's probably pretty obvious to most people that have been watching the channel who I don't think is going to advance, but I wanted to go into it. My last video was obviously uh, my pretty laughable double down on the Lions. I just thought it was a really weird halftime line, and to me, it just made more sense to kind of give the Chiefs three really stacked teams to really cement Mahomes' legacy. But as I've said multiple times, so the Eagles make absolutely no sense to me at all. I don't think it's happened before where you've had teams play the same team. I'm not saying it can't happen, but he's beat the Niners twice, and they're two pretty different teams. The Niners, the Eagles are basically the same team. They are better. So I think to me it just makes more sense. You give him more teams that he's beaten. And at this point, again, I think a rematch would be a little boring, whereas Commanders and Chiefs would be pretty entertaining. And it would be a first time, which they do like to do. I just noticed this is on Kobe Day. We could probably expect some shenanigans. I know Kobe's from Philly, so like Philly's like his second city, so that might be. But I always wonder, like, okay, well, what way is that going to go? Because, Kobe's not around, so does that mean a good or a bad thing for the Eagles? It's the reason I don't look too much into the symbolism and the gematria. But I do look at narratives. And again, the symbolism, someone brought this up at the beginning of the year. I think they were joking, but I don't take puns in a joking matter, especially in like the NFL when you see so much of the same name coming up or of the same words. I just think Commanders and Chiefs just go so strong in a year. It's going to be weeks removed from them putting in a new commander-in-chief, and that happened in Washington. It just, to me, is way too interesting. They're your two native teams. The Commanders did a lot of interesting things, getting rid of Schneider, obviously. It would make sense that they're rewarded for that. So, for so many reasons, I just love the Commanders. And that's kind of what I went into last week. I'm sure I got roasted, and rightfully so, for doubling down on the Lions. But I had gone into the winner of that game was who I have winning, going to the Super Bowl, just because I don't see it being the Eagles. They make no sense at all to me. Nor did the Packers or any of the other squads, really. The only ones that made sense to me were the Lions and then the Commanders for the different reasons I've stated. So, yeah, I think the Commanders take this. I think they advance. It'll be a first time. I think it's a first time coach and quarterback. They're both rookies, the coach and quarterback. So it'll definitely be a precedent that they set there. And again, I just think Commander Chief goes really strong. It's just an interesting time. And we've certainly seen symbolism like that in the past. So that this one goes without explaining. It's going to be the Chiefs. Even if I were to concede, maybe they don't give Mahomes the three-peat. Which everybody, I thought more people would be with me. So many people have been against me on this, and still are. And again, I usually have one really laughable take. That was my NFC pick. And then I usually have a pretty spot-on pick, which in this case would be the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. The NBA season, we did pretty good last year. We basically called both sides. Beginning of year, to me, I thought it was going to be Clippers, Celtics, and if not, Mavs, Celtics. We were really close there. And we have a good read this NBA season, too. And in the NFL, my laughable take was I really thought the Cowboys were going to do a lot better. I liked Cowboys versus Indians, so I wasn't too far off. We wound up getting Commander-Chief, so I think we're going to wind up getting Commander-Chief. I really don't think it's going to be the Bills. It would be interesting because I think the last time the Redskins at the time went to the Super Bowl, it was against the Bills. I know a lot of people saying Bills, Eagles is a draw. I just think at the very least, because of all the people that are going to be watching, for him to win or lose, kind of like when Brady was going for his undefeated season. That's what this feels like to me, a lot. So I think you have to at least put him in the Super Bowl. So even if I were to concede, maybe Mahomes might not get the three-peat, but they can say he went to 3 straight Super Bowls. No other quarterback really did that, even if you include Kelly, because he never won any of them, who ironically played for the Bills. But yeah, I just think, and also it's interesting because Josh Allen's 0-4 against Mahomes. Jim Kelly lost 4 Super Bowls in a row. A lot of parallels, but really just to keep it simple, the draw is the Chiefs. It would be really big for Josh Allen and obviously his legacy, and maybe I get people's point. Maybe this is his like one Super Bowl because Rodgers got one, Manning got two, I think. A lot of great quarterbacks got one or two, or got there once, didn't win it though. So I see why people think in the Bills this is their year. I just don't. I think again, the Ravens looked unstoppable. Bills did a good job on them, and I think between people wanting the Chiefs to lose and actually thinking the Bills are a better team, a lot of money is going to be on the Bills here. So, and the future bets for the Bills are a lot more enticing. So, yeah, from almost every aspect, to me it just makes sense. The Chiefs go on to host, or not host, but to be the reigning champ, I should say, in their third straight Super Bowl. I think they're going to win it. We'll get there when we get there. I'll do my official pick, but I'm not going to change it from the preseason now, only because this is basically everything I expected, and I think they'll cover the 2.5. Of course, it could be a very close game. They probably are expecting people are taking the Chiefs to take them to cover. So this might be one that moves to 1.5 late or 3.5 late, and it's a clip. But I feel safe giving up 2.5. And that's basically it. If you watch my playoff videos, all that different stuff, there's not much more I can elaborate on. Chiefs is just a no-brainer to me. And then the Commanders, I think, make much, much more sense than the Eagles. So that parlay is a pretty good parlay. If you parlay Commanders with Chiefs minus 2.5, you could probably throw in a Josh Allen rushing touchdown, because I feel like he's definitely going to get one, just to boost that up a little more. Might play some Jaden Daniel props. He threw really good last week. So I feel like this might be the week where he runs for like over 100 yards or something like that, or at least 80, and maybe a touchdown. So I like both Josh Allen and Daniels on rushing props. And I like obviously the Chiefs to cover and the Commanders to win. So yeah, any kind of mixture there, you're looking at anywhere from like plus 700 to plus 1,500, depending on how froggy you want to get with it. But yeah, I think we're going to get a pretty easy 2-0 this weekend, just because I really don't believe in the Eagles, and I really do believe in the Chiefs. And I do love the Commander-in-Chief is just, in my opinion, I loved it since the person told me it. One of the reasons, I had him in the playoffs, not really fizzling out, and it's not a shocker to me that they're the team. If it was like Eagles versus, say the Lions are out and we had like Eagles versus Packers or something, that wouldn't make any sense to me. Or Eagles Vikings, Eagles Rams, those really wouldn't make much sense to me. The Commanders do. They make sense. They're the only team besides the Lions, again, in my opinion, where it's going to be a fresh and a much more highly watched Super Bowl. Because you have a legitimate underdog in Daniels going up against this monster in Mahomes. There's a lot of reasons, the symbolism I went into. But yeah, I think we definitely see a Commanders upset again. Little David versus Goliath story. And then, yeah, Chiefs cover. So that's basically it. I'll be able to knock out some more NBA videos going forward too. The last I checked, we were killing it. Even my props were doing well. I remember a couple years ago, actually, fun fact, my second video ever, they didn't play today. I think he fouled out yesterday. My second video ever was on Shadon Sharp. And I had said how he was going to be the best rookie from that class. Even though he was like a 7th pick, he wasn't like a top pick. And he was really young. He didn't play much in college, but he just seemed to come out of nowhere. And I do think he's going to wind up going pretty nuts. He's doing all right this year. But not many people even knew who this guy was. What's weird is he was listed at 6'7" when I did my video a couple years ago on him. So I don't know what happened there, but yeah, he was listed at 6'7". But yeah, he has all the makings of a guy who's just going to come out of nowhere and kind of just be, I think, a star, not a superstar, but he'll be a star. The only guy really in that class that's doing better than him, in my opinion, is Paolo Banchero. He's the only one that's definitely doing better. Brandon Williams he's doing worse, in my opinion. And some other guys from that class might be doing about the same. But yeah, I was just curious. I'm curious. I think Shadon Sharp's he plays tomorrow. Oh, okay, he's the only one who plays. Yeah, I think he's gonna, if he's playing. I've been playing his props. He's been doing pretty good, and I feel like he's gonna just slowly progress until out of nowhere he's like this pretty highly touted star. That's kind of how I think it's going to happen. But if you watch my NBA playoff video, I think it's my rankings, like I did like a tier list. I go into who I think is going to represent the East and the West, and it's not anything too shocking, to be honest. It's a pretty simple story. Not to spoil it, but yeah, I think the Celtics are going back. And I know a lot of people are saying they think the Mavs are going to go back. Obviously, people like the Thunder. To me, there's a lot of story with them and the Lakers, if you think about it. So I'm hoping I don't make the Cowboys mistake, where it's like I think this is their year, and people are just like, nope, they're never going to do it. I for years have been saying the Lakers, last several years, definitely not going to do it. This is the year I think it makes some sense. We got Lakers Celtics, which has a lot of history. I could be wrong, but that's kind of where I'm headed. You can look at my rankings or playoff video there if you want to see exactly why I believe that. And we'll get into that. Like I said, the NFL is basically concluded, but I just wanted to cover that I do still believe we're going to get Lakers Celtics for quite a few reasons. So yeah, let me know what you think, and we'll have our Super Bowl picked out earlier next week, probably like midweek or something. Again, it's not much I can say. It's going to be the Chiefs. That's not going to change unless they lose this week, of course, which I don't see happening. But yeah, if it winds up being Chiefs Eagles or Chiefs Commanders, I mean, I think you know who I would go with. But I'll do a video anyway, just to kind of go into what happens this week and just kind of what I might notice, because I'm really going to pay attention to. I imagine Brady's calling the second game, and Brady's Fox, so he's going to be calling the first game, which is weird. You would just think Brady would call Mahomes and Allen. So we'll have Brady calling the first game, and then we're going to have, who's going to be like, is it Nance and Romo, whoever, Collinsworth calling the second game. Oh, I didn't know the Chiefs were undefeated at home. That's crazy. But yeah, so that's actually that would have been another interesting story with Chiefs Lions, because Lions beat them in Arrowhead last year. So for the Chiefs to be undefeated at home, but obviously that didn't happen. So yeah, I'll probably Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that go into, unless there's a week. Yeah, we have a week off, so we'll have some time. But yeah, Commanders Chiefs in my opinion. Take care and happy earnings.